Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
Celebrating the life of Jerry Springer, who just woken up. Jerry has passed away at the tender age of 79 years old.
No, he was crook, Jerry.
No, well, it all happened quite quickly. He had pancreatic cancer, and he got the diagnosis a couple of months ago and deteriorated fairly quickly. A very aggressive cancer, unfortunately for Jerry Springer. But my God, what a life that man lived.
Well, I read the other day, because when he first came onto the scene, he was just another talk show host. He wasn't controversial. And you had like Sally Jesse Raphael, you had Donahue.
Yep,
Oprah,
that's right.
Oprah was just kicking off, and he was boring. Like, everyone was like, oh, what, another one?
Yeah, there was a couple of false starts. Well, his history was, he had a bit of a profile because he was the mayor of Cincinnati in 77. Then he became a lead anchor of NBC, of their local news there in Cincinnati.
WNBC.
So he was known as more of a straight guy. And what I think was so good about his craft, even when Jerry Springer, the show as we know it, played out, he was always quite straight. He wasn't laughing. He was almost like Louis Theroux in these documentaries, where he just asked the correct questions to provoke a little bit and let the guests on the show do the rest.
Well, I think they said, I think there was a suggestion to go, I think they had a controversial guest on one time. I think it was like a white supremacist or something like that.
Right.
And the reaction that they got from the viewers was unbelievable. And they went, well, he could be one of the first with controversial television, which now you look at shock jocks and all this, people who just want to shock the whole time and question every social issue. Jerry could have been one of the first to do it on television.
At one stage, it was outrating the Oprah Winfrey Show. That's how big it was. But I think you're right. It got so wild that you would end up sitting back thinking,
is this real?
They're actors.
Well, this
can't be legitimate.
Has that been...
No, I don't think it was ever...
It was legitimate the whole time?
I think it was. But, you know, from his casting team for who turned up on stage that day, and Steve, the security guy, had to break up the fights. Yeah. Man, where did they find these people? We have a little bit of a package here. I think it's under the title of Jerry Springer Moments, Jess, if you can fire it off. This was the sort of regular gig you'd get on his show.
Sisters share everything, clothes, secret shoes, and on this show, men. You have a girlfriend and you've been pimping out her cousin.
For a whole year now.
Dusty, did you hook up with your wife's mother?
Yeah, a little bit there, Jerry.
Well, Jerry, I'm here to tell my brother I've been sleeping with his fiancée for the last month and a half.
It was one...
Come on. What is going on? It was one
guy who came on and he'd been cheating with his wife with a horse.
Ah, yeah, well, there you go. that can happen regularly. How do they always find these people, though?
What about these two girls here?
I offered him a ride home because he was drunk, and it got kind of wild, and we ended up having sex.
Why the hell would you do this to me again?
Christina, what do you mean again? And at least I'm telling you right now.
You had sex with two of my other boyfriends.
I'm sorry.
Oh my God, that's not funny. I mean, that's two sisters. Who agrees to go on this show?
What they would do next would be bring out the three boyfriends. And then it was just on. It got to the point where you almost was like releasing, at one stage you'd release a wild animal from a cage and Steve had to come in and stop the fight from happening. What a gig Steve had.
Oh, Steve.
Oh, that's awesome.
Steve always had a grin on his face. It's like the security guard on Judge Judy. He ended up in jail himself.
Did he?
Yes.
Did Judge Judy send him to jail?
No.
What a twist that episode would be.
It was shock television, wasn't it? And it took off. Like, that was the original Jerry Springer.
Would it work here?
I wonder if, before he died, there was a moment where Jerry Springer, in his deathbed, said to his wife, you know what, I wish I didn't do it. Like,
would have loved it.
My conscience says to me that what I've done my whole career was wrong.
What about when he came on this show? We needed his help. We were trying to track down Matt Damon.
Hey, Fitzy and Whopper, Jerry Springer here. I understand you guys, you've been trying to reach Matt Damon. I don't know him personally, and it wouldn't be appropriate for me to get involved in this. But I will say, and for you guys, you seem to be of good character. And the reason I know that is because I checked our records, and you've never been on my show, which is a good thing. You don't ever want to be on my show. But in any event, take care of yourself and each other.
Tommy, I just found out Jerry Springer did 5 episodes here in Sydney.
Yeah.
When was this, 90s or
It
early
was,
90s?
early 2000s. Yeah, 2003.
Jerry Down Under.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable. Geez, I mean,
If you can
great
tell us
way to
anything.
go out in your career when you're doing cameos towards the end of your life.
How are things, Jerry? Things looking up? Looking down, I reckon. Thanks, Jerry.
Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.